Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm playing the solo mode in SETI, the search for extraterrestrial life. And disclaimer that I got a review copy for this one. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So SETI is a competitive Euro, a victory point chasing game for 1 to 4 players, and yes, I'm playing the solo mode. In the game, you'll be taking actions, your main ones being launching probes, which you can then send to the different celestial bodies in the solar system, and you can land on them or orbit them to get different bonuses. And then you'll also be scanning for signs of extraterrestrial life, going to these nearby star systems through the different quadrants, which will get you data you can analyze, these little blue tokens to try to find out about aliens, and then you'll also leave your little tokens here, and when these spaces get filled, you'll have sort of an area majority thing to discover signs of life for 2 randomized alien species out of 5 in the game. When all 3 of these spots are filled, you'll flip over the alien, and that'll add new ways to get victory points, new actions you can take, and also each of the 5 alien types has their own unique mechanics that change up the game in different ways. You'll also be researching text that'll make your actions more efficient. You'll be rotating the solar system to change where the Earth is pointing and how close different celestial bodies are. Actions will be giving you publicity, moving your little microphone up this track, and then you can spend that publicity to get technology or cards. And as you earn victory points from all of this, you'll be passing these little gold milestones, which will let you lock in endgame victory points from up to 4 different spots. And these are double-sided, so you'll have a different mix of victory point conditions every game. You also have cards you can discard for instant bonuses or play at a cost for more powerful actions on your turn. When you complete certain actions, you can also slot in cards from your hand to get income. That'll come at the end of the round. The game is played over 5 rounds, by the way. By the way, this board and the previous one are supposed to be one giant vertical board, all connected together, but that would have been a nightmare to film, so I've split them up to make things a little bit easier. But yeah, this is a big game, so it's going to be a little tough to keep everything on camera. And here's my player board. You're going to be having credits and energy. Those are your main resources to spend on things. And of course, your hand of cards. Meanwhile, the AI has a deck of cards. They always start with the same 4, and then when you're on difficulty 3 or above, I'm playing on 3 today, you get an advanced card shuffled in here to start. And they'll be gaining progress through multiple actions, and whenever they make a full circle and pass this slot, they get another advanced card added to their deck, which will make them stay in the round longer, because how rounds work is you keep going until every player is passed, and once you pass, you can't play anymore. So the AI will keep playing cards until they run out and then pass on their next turn. And their cards work with a priority system where they'll do the first action that they are able to resolve, going from top to bottom, with any ties broken by the arrow in the top of their card, the rightmost option or the leftmost option being preferred. And then something else to change up the play game to game is you have these objective tiles. These are only used in solo. And the number and severity of them you use changes based on difficulty. Again, I'm doing a level 3 solo here. I destroyed the level 1 solo and then beat the level 2 solo, but it was a little bit closer, so I thought 3 might be a good place for my skill level right now. But these are little objectives you want to complete. Whenever you complete one, you get to put it over near your board. And then at the end of round 1, you trash one of them that you've already completed. At the end of round 2, you trash 2. At the end of round 3, 3. At the end of round 4, 4. And at the end of round 5, every single one that hasn't been completed from this pile, because whenever you finish one, you flip up a new one. Every one that hasn't been completed is going to give the opponent 5 victory points on top of whatever they've earned during the game. And anytime you can't get rid of an objective at the end of the round because you didn't earn enough yet, you're going to give the AI free progress, 3 per uncompleted objective. So yeah, these, again, will kind of change up what you're focusing on game to game, although you can sometimes just ignore them and go for whatever you want. Now, what all these icons mean, what each of the main actions do, I'll explain that as I do them and as the AI does them. I think by the end of round 1, you'll probably have seen all of the major actions. But before I jump in, let's talk about a few kind of things that are going to change my initial decisions in the game. Okay, so my starting objectives. This one is to get 5 data in my data pool, which is this little spot here. You can then fill in data to get bonuses, and you can eventually use it to process the data and get one of those signs of life to get victory points and unlock one of the alien races. This one, meanwhile, wants me to build up to 8 publicity. You get publicity from a whole bunch of actions, but usually you don't want to build up to 8. You want to spend it to get technologies and stuff. So building up to 8 is a little bit of a weird thing to do. And this one, which is of the harder difficulty, means they want me to research a telescope tech, which is related to the scan action, and they want me to complete a mission. That's kind of a weird mix of things to do, and it's going to be very based on my cards. So I'm going to focus on getting one of these for the first round, and potentially both of them if things go well. Also, looking at these, this is an interesting mix. All three of these are on the side that rewards diversity, whereas other sides will reward focusing in on things a bit more. So I can potentially get endgame scoring for getting sets of all three types of life found in the universe. I can get points for getting sets of all three types of research techs. I can get points for sets of all three types of income. And this one's just for completing missions from cards that I've played. So that's a little bit more straightforward. But yeah, these are worth a lot potentially, but they want me to kind of spread out and do a little bit of everything, which we can try to do. And then a final thing to note is how the solar system is set up. You randomize all of this. You can either just do it randomly, kind of placing things wherever, or they do have a QR code you can scan in the rule book that randomizes it for you. But yeah, this is very interesting. I don't think I've had this exact configuration. So Earth is where you're going to start out all your probes, and it's also where you'll be doing most of your scan actions from. And sometimes Earth is like way far away from everything. I mean, Venus and Mercury are always within two. But look, right now, just by chance, it is directly lined up with Mars and with Jupiter. So if I can get a probe launch quickly, I can get to Mars in the minimum amount of time that it will ever be possible to do, because Earth will very quickly be rotating away and making it tougher to do that. So that's going to have a big impact on my first action. I think I'm going to launch a probe right away. So let me show you how that works. Well, actually, before I can do that, I need to decide which card I'm going to tuck, because I get to tuck one card as income at the start of the game. So you start with 5 cards. This card's going to give me credits every round, which are the only thing you use to play cards generally. This one's going to use me energy, which is used for moving probes around the star system, for analyzing data. It's a big part of the cost of scanning the surrounding stars. And then this question mark here gets me another card, so it's just a card replacement. Now, my plan this turn is going to revolve around having extra money to spend. So I think I'm going to lock this card out of my 5 in for an extra credit of income. And this is the starting income that everybody has, 3 credits, 2 energy, and 1 random card. And I'm slotting this in, so now I'll get 4 credits at the end of round 1, 2, 3, and 4. By the way, this is your starting resources, so that's the symbol for gaining income. Okay, so I started with 4 publicity, 4 credits, 3 energy, 5 cards, and I'm slotting 1 in. And importantly, whenever you slot in something for income, you immediately gain that resource as well, which is key to what I'm going to try to do this turn. So yeah, boop, I got a 5th credit. Cool. All right, now I'm ready to go. So let's look at some cards in my hand. The big ones I'm looking at are this one, Parks Observatory, which is going to let me perform a scan action, which would normally cost 1 credit and 2 energy, but this will make it cost just 2 credits. So a little bit of a discount, and also I'll get a bonus if I mark certain colors of places. But this is the bigger one for when I want to do this turn. This is going to let me, with the Perseverance rover, land on a planet for 1 credit instead of the 3 energy it usually costs. And if I land on Mars, Mercury, or any moon, I gain 4 victory points. And we know that Mars is very close, so let's just make this thing happen right away. So I'm going to take one of the basic actions, which is over here. But to show it a little closely, it's launch a probe. For 2 credits, I can launch a probe from Earth. That is the icon. So I'm going to spend 2 credits, and I take one of these rewood pieces and put it on Earth. Now, it's unlikely but possible that the AI could rotate the solar system and suddenly I would be farther away from Mars. So let's use a free action. On your turn, you have to take 1 main action, then you can take any number of free actions filtered into your main action before, during, or after, however you like. And one of the free actions is to spend 1 energy to move a probe 1 space. Spaces either being 1 quadrant, or I guess they're not quadrants, 1 sector within your current ring, or moving out or in a level. So 1 space will get me to Mars here. Although instead of spending energy, I can use cards, because you can discard any card from your hand for its bonus from the upper left. Here, this is a single movement. This is a card that I don't anticipate I would be playing anytime soon, so I'm going to discard this to get that 1 movement instead of spending an energy, which will get me to Mars. And again, that was a free action, so it's still technically my turn. And whenever you move into a space with one of these little icons, that gets you a publicity immediately, which again is going to help me both get closer to completing this 8 publicity objective while also getting me closer to being able to buy technology and such. And besides publicity, the one thing to know about are these asteroids. It doesn't cost you any extra to move into them, but it costs you 2 energy or 2 movement to move out of them, although there is a tech that takes away that extra cost and makes them give you publicity as well, so asteroids become your friend instead of your enemy. Oh, that's right, I'm here. And my publicity is up to 5. And I think we're going to stop there. Now the AI can't do anything to steal Mars from me, so no more free actions needed. All right, so now let's get to the first AI action. And what are they going to do? So their first preference here is to analyze data. This is a core action related to down here and the blue data tokens you can get mainly from scanning. As you gain data tokens, they go into your little pool over here, but you can, as a free action, lay them out. The AI just always lays them out the second they get them. You'll get bonuses as you fill in the spots, and once your entire row is filled, you can take the analyze data action. And the big thing is that will get you one of those signs of life on the blue spaces over here to gain you victory points and publicity, and then once the aliens are revealed, other cool stuff. But the AI can't do that one because they don't have their full data row filled, so they skip. The next one says they want to move a probe 4 spaces to one of these celestial bodies, whichever one they can reach that is leftmost, but they don't have a probe yet. So they're going to go to their fallback action. The bottom action can always be resolved, where they are going to take a scan action. So let's talk about this and how it works for the AI. So for a human player, a scan action costs 1 credit and 2 energy, and you get to mark some signals at surrounding stars based on your unlocked techs. At the beginning of the game, for a human, you can mark a signal on the sector that Earth is in, and then you discard a card from the 3-card offer. These 3 cards here to mark a sector of the color matching the icon in the upper right. So usually that won't matter for cards in your hand, unless you get a specific tech that lets it matter. But these will matter for these 3 cards in the offer, and they are immediately replaced afterwards. Now, the AI's scans sometimes are a little bit different, so they're going to scan twice where Earth is, and then once for a card, and you look at the card, so they will scan with the leftmost card in the offer. So twice for Earth, and then in a yellow. And how scanning works is you take the leftmost, well, leftmost is kind of weird when it's a circle, but the leftmost within the particular orientation data point. This is in the sector that Earth is located in. They're doing this twice. And you replace it with one of your tokens. And you'll see the second token to be placed gains 2 victory points. That's a little green there. Oh, by the way, I didn't say, but since I went first, the AI starts with an extra victory point. And in a 4-player game, third would start with 3, 4 would start with 4. So even though you're going to end up taking generally the same amount of actions in a given round, going first gives you a minor bonus. Okay, so they got 2 victory points for filling this one in. And then last was a yellow sector, so they actually have 2 choices here. It's because they discarded a yellow card. And the AI has some preferences when they have multiple options like this. First preference is a sector they can finish and win, take out the last blue token. Second preference is a sector where they'll get victory points, which doesn't apply for either of these. Third preference is the sector where they already have the most things, because they just want to work towards finishing it. So they are going to actually put all 3 in this sector, which means I really don't want to go to that sector, probably because I don't want to fast track them to getting the sign of life. This gets purple signs of life by finishing scanning sectors, while you saw analyzing these data tokens gets blue signs of life, and the last sign of life, yellow, is mainly gained by landing on planets. I'm actually about to do that one in a second. So they gained 3 data tokens from that scan action. And for a player, you can, as a free action, put your data tokens out, but you don't have to. For the AI, they always immediately do it. So 1, 2, they're going to gain a publicity, and 3. And this one's going to give them 4 progress, which gets them a lot closer to adding a card to their hand. And again, when they get this filled, then they will be eligible to use that blue action. Now, something to note, although it didn't come up, the AI, unlike human players, when they get technology tiles, they don't permanently gain a bonus. Like when I get technology, it's going to permanently go in these slots and make my actions better. But for the AI, it's instead a one-time boost. So if they had a pink telescope tech, they would discard it to scan an extra sector. And you get similar things with the other techs. But here, it doesn't do anything. So that is their first of 5 actions for the round, unless they add more cards by circling around. All right, and it comes back to me, and let's do the action that I had planned, which is playing this card. Another main action is to play a card, paying its credit cost, and then resolving this stuff. So here I'm going to pay 1 of my 3 remaining credits to perform the land action. So since it's indicated here, I don't have to pay the regular cost because the cards take precedence, but normally it would cost 3 3 energy, very expensive. But if somebody has previously orbited the same planet, which would cost 1 credit and 1 energy, then it only costs 2. There's also a tech you can get that decreases the landing cost to 2 or 1 with the orbit. What's all this orbiting and landing stuff mean? Well, you take your probe from the planet it's on, and you go over to this more detailed zoomed in view. So here's where you go when you orbit. Again, that's 1 credit and 1 energy. You get this victory point bonus if you're the first one to orbit that particular planet, and then you get everything here. Even if you're later in orbiting and you don't get the victory point bonus, you still get all of this. So in Mars, it would get you a card draw. When there's not a question mark, like the income one has a question mark. When there's not a question mark, you can pick any of the 3 cards face up in the offer, or just take the top card of the deck. This would let me scan the sector that Mars is currently located in, and that's the income icon to take a card from my hand and slot in its income and gain that income immediately as well. So that's orbiting, but I'm not doing that. I'm playing this to land, and since nobody's orbiting, it would normally cost me 3 energy, but here it's just 1 credit because of the card. And landing, Mars has 2 slots, most planets don't, of a bonus. But again, even if other people have covered these up, you can always get this. So I'm going to get 2 data tokens. These aren't coming from any sector, they're just coming from the pool. And then I get the regular bonus for landing on Mars, which is 6 victory points and a yellow sign of life. So I'm first to a sign of life. All right, so that was 6 victory points to 7. But let's not forget my card. It says if I land on Mars, Mercury, or any moon with this action, gain 4 more victory points. So I'm up to 11. And then I get to do the yellow sign of life. So at first, before the aliens are flipped, you only have these spaces or these spaces. These, any number of tokens can go in, but they're generally always worse than other options. And these spaces, you'll see this one is just better than that one, so you usually want to go for the left alien first if you can. So that's 5 more victory points and another publicity. This was a nice victory point turn. I'm up to 16. Almost to here. I didn't mention these yet. In 2-player, you'll have 2 tokens here. In 3-player, you'll have 1. When a player passes or reaches these milestones, you'll take 1 token and you'll put it on the aliens, basically helping in a lower player count game to discover the aliens more quickly. Okay, but I want to get 1 publicity, so I actually have 6, which is enough now to get a tech if I would like. But let's see if I can find a way to get 2 more and complete that objective before I spend it. All right, so that was my landing action. And note that we've now talked about pretty much every main action, except I haven't said how researching a tech works. As your main action, you spend 6 publicity. You rotate the solar system. That's what that symbol means. And whenever you rotate the solar system, you take this token and you move it to the next space, and then you perform the type of rotation indicated. First, just the central tier rotates, then the first 2 tiers, and then all 3 tiers. To show you what that looks like, first it's just Earth and the stuff with that, then it's both of them, and then it's all 3 like that. All right, now let's see if I can, there we go, undo the damage I did. Yay! Much with that, let's go to the AI. And they want to scan their computer again, but they can't. And they don't have 6 publicity, so they're going to actually scan for life again. Once from Earth and twice from cards. And their tiebreaker is right this time. So it's going to be Earth, blue, yellow. When they do multiple scans like that, you don't replace until you've finished doing all of them. That's that. Blue is not done at all yet. And none of the other priorities apply here. So in that case, they prefer the one with more spots. So they're going to go to Sirius A here. But then yellow, clearly they'll go to this one. And that one is almost done. What happens when it finishes is you see who has the most tokens there. Ties being broken by the one who last put a token down. So like if they had, I don't know, 3 there, and then I put 3 of mine, I would win the tie. Everyone involved gets 1 publicity. That's what this 1 publicity per player thing means. But then whoever wins gets to move their thing up here, and that's going to get you usually the purple sign of life. There's a bit more stuff involved with that, but once we actually resolve one, I'll tell you about it. All right, and they are immediately putting in their 3 data, so that gets them 4 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, which again is going to get them an advanced card. And now this is filled, so if they get, although I think with both of these gone, that's unlikely. If they get another one that lets them process their computer, they'll actually do it this time. All right, now coming to me. So I have 2 data. This is the action I wanted to do, right? To scan a bunch more. Although I kind of wanted to wait until the Earth had rotated because I don't want to necessarily help them finish their thing faster. Though it would get me a publicity for doing so. Which, yeah, honestly doesn't sound too bad, does it? So sure, I'm going to pay 2 credits to play Parks Observatory. So I'll perform a scan action, and for every red sector I mark with the scan action, I'll get 2 victory points. I think I'm going to be able to get 1. So first has to be on Earth. I'm going to help them finish, but I'll get a publicity, and I'll also get a token there. You'll see how that works in a second. And then I'm going to discard this 1 red card for my free extra, because that'll earn me 2 victory points for marking a red sector. And, do I want to follow the same logic they do? Sure. So I'll mark the bigger one. Or actually, no, I won't, because I might be able to sneak in a quicker win with it having fewer tokens here. All right, so after your turn is fully over, you resolve all these sectors that got finished in whatever order you want. So here, they have 5, I have 1. So they win. They're going to discover a purple sign of life. We each get 1 publicity for being involved here, which gets me to 7, 1 off from what I need to get that objective tile. And then every token is cleared except for 1 of the second place player if there was any. So I'll have a little advantage here next time. And besides that 1 token, you fill in the data to bring it back to its starting spot. And normally when the rival marks signs of life, they will mark the lowest column that is available. But here, there's your equally low in row. So actually, this is weird. It's not their turn. It's my turn. And usually they would use the decision arrow on their card. Guess I'll use the decision arrow on their previous cards. They're going to actually mark this one. It gets them fewer victory points, but they're not always smart like that. So they'll get a publicity and 3 victory points. So they're at 7. All right, next is this card. Okay, so these ones will get replaced as aliens are discovered. This says, if the first alien is discovered, replace this card with its corresponding alien card. So kind of in a fun way, they'll get unique action cards that will deal with the special mechanics of the aliens. But here, they're going to rotate the solar system because they do have at least 6 publicity, and they're going to get a tech. And which tech they prefer to get is based on where their current progress token is located. You'll see these icons are repeated over on the tech tiles, so we'll get to that in a second. But first, they spend 6 publicity. And oops, that didn't actually happen yet. They'll rotate to just the inner ring, which means now the Earth is not so close to Mars and Jupiter and is now focusing on the Vega system, which only has 4 tokens to finish up. Okay, and they had the first orange slots. They're going to take this technology, but they'll always try to take a technology that has one of these little blue tokens or cyan tokens on top of it. That means they get a 2 victory point bonus for taking that technology. Additionally, when you get a tech, you get the bonuses indicated on it. In this case, you get a free shuttle launch, pretty dang cool, and 3 victory points. But the AI ignores the free shuttle launch because that's really an incentive for players to get this tech, which lets you have 2 probes out at one time instead of 1. That's your usual limit. There's usually a weaker tech otherwise for players. But the AI doesn't care because they're just going to discard this for little bonuses. So they don't get the free launch. They just get, in this case, 5 victory points. But you'll see each of the type of techs has different immediate bonuses you gain, and that's randomized. So like now, if I got the same tech, I would get 1 free publicity, for example. All right, so 5 victory points gets them to 12. And they're just going to hang on to that until they can spend it. It'll let them land on a moon as though they had the moon tech temporarily instead of orbiting or landing on a planet. Moons are like Callisto around Jupiter or Phobos and Deimos around Mars. They tend to have super good bonuses, but you can't normally land on them unless you have the technology unlocked that lets you land on moons, or in the AI's case, they can use that one-time token. All right. What do I want to do? Why do I have so much friggin' energy? There's not very many actions you can do with just energy. I guess I could land, but I don't have a probe out because that would cost credits. All right. So if I don't want to take a penalty and let the AI level up, I need to either get to 8 publicity. I'm 1 shy of that. Or get 5 data in my pool. I'm 1 shy of that. And guess what? I can't make the 5 data happen. I don't think there's any good way for me to do that. So I'm instead going to, as a free action, go ahead and put out my data. 1, 2, and that gets me an 8th publicity, which means I can immediately complete that one. So I have my 1 tile to give to the AI at the end of this round so they don't level up extra. There we go. And you know what? Now that I've gotten that, I think I'm going to get a tech. So let's spend 6. We're going to rotate the middle ring, which also moves the Earth and Mercury and Venus. And it's not really the best tech for what I'm actually trying to do in the game. This one just lets you scan instead of from Earth in any of the 3 sectors adjacent to Earth when you do your 1 free Earth scan with a scan action. But it does give me 2 data immediately, which would let me get a blue sign of life right away this turn. So it's not really good. Ooh, and also it's going to help me do another objective. So you know what? I am going to do this. So I gain 2 data and 1 publicity back. Oh, and 2 victory points since I'm the first to take that to tech. Whoop, there we go. And yeah, now when I scan, it'll be a little bit better. And here's why I like that tech, even though it's not the best for me. Look, it's going to half complete this. Oh, I should have another one out. What's this one? Ooh, when I gain a blue tech or gain a blue sign of life, which actually I'm going to be able to do in a second. So this is half completed. I have to do both things before I'll actually take it. Now, I could... There's no way for me to get one more tech easily, is there? Or sorry, one more data token. Because I do have 3 publicity, enough to get a card from the offer. And some cards can be discarded for a data token, but none of these. Well, either way, my main action is done. I don't have to worry about that yet. Let's let the AI take their second to last action. Oh, and it's going to be to process their data. Wow, they got another one. So all 6 of these go away. If they had a blue technology, they would discard it to get 3 victory points and a progress. They don't. So all they're going to do is place a blue sign of life. Dang it. I was about to do this, and they're going to get the better one. They're going to do it on the left spot. So right here, gets them another publicity and 5 victory points. And that gets them to 17, right behind me. And we're both about to pass these things, which will very quickly discover the alien races because we don't have that many spaces left to fill in. All right, so what can I do and what I kind of need to do? Even though I would rather get one more tech, there are no cards that let me do that right now. Oh, sorry, one more data. So I think I'm just going to, as a free action, fill in these. So it does get me an income, which all I have in my hand right now is more energy. Jesus, it's a lot of energy. I could use my 3 publicity to get a card from the offer, but I guess it'll be okay. Give me a lot of resources next turn. So I get an energy immediately. I don't really need that much. And then I'll fill in the last ones. And I'm going to use 1 energy as my main action. It does cost me an energy, unlike the AI, to get my own blue sign of life going, which is going to get me 3 and 1 publicity. Which gets me to 4, close to another tech. And, oh, here we go. So I place this out. They always prefer the leftmost spots. I mean, they being a non-player, so it doesn't really matter. And at the end of the turn, because all 3 of these are filled, we're going to find out which of the 5 aliens we have. And let me get the little rules for this one in the thematic intro, and you'll see what they're all about. So these are the Mascomites. On the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, we've discovered a new species of alien creature. Their name is derived from their diet, as they feed on the rare lunar mineral mascognite. They exhibit social and behavioral similarities to Earth's insects, but studying samples will reveal their true nature. Okay, so every of the 5 alien species has their own unique thing going on. But first, you do this for every alien. They have their own unique set of cards. And for every marker we contributed to discovering the aliens, we get one of those cards for free. Now, the AI never gets cards. Instead, whenever they would gain any of the basic resources, including alien cards or regular cards, they just get 1 progress tick up. If they would ever gain a income, they get 4. So that's really good at fast track stuff. But for me, I get a free card. What is it? Computer simulations. So I could discard it for a victory point and a data. Well, that's a little too late. And I'll be able to spend 3 to get publicity, to rotate the solar system, and get, wow, an immediate blue research. And I want those. That's kind of cool. Oh, that's right. I did get a blue sign of life. And then these are little ongoing missions or objectives you get for playing cards. So this one says if I have 2 blue on this particular species, then I get to choose Jupiter or Saturn, look at all of its tokens, pick one, gain its reward, and put it back. Well, we're going to talk about what that means in a second. And the rest of these become an offer. The topmost card is revealed. And anytime you fill, you'll see now with each of the signs of life, you can put on these other ones. You don't have to go from bottom to top, but the bottom ones tend to be the best. Whenever you put one of your tokens down, you'll get this reward. And if it has a little alien symbol, you get either the top card or a random card. But now what's going on with these sample tokens? So 1 gets put here, and that's now a spot I could place on to get 2 data. That seems like a waste. Then the other 6 go on the gas giants, or the near gas giants. 3 on Jupiter, 3 on Saturn. And what we need to do now, if we want to get these tokens, you can't just go and get them from the planet. Instead, you need to have gotten an alien card that lets you get them. Like my card would let me gain the bonus of 1. So like here, this says breeding sample. I just grabbed this from the deck. For 1 money, you could land on Jupiter or Saturn. Well, actually, you can use it to land anywhere, but you want to use it to land on Jupiter or Saturn. And then you get to look at all the tokens on the planet and pick 1 up. And then you get a little mission to deliver it to Earth, and in this case, resolve its bonus twice. Because like this one that went on the board, each of these is going to have a decent bonus on it. And each of the cards that lets you pick it up will also tell you where to bring it to resolve that bonus. So basically, this alien race kind of introduces a little pick up and deliver mechanic to the game. Oh, and how it actually works is, let's say I got like my probe here and I had a card that let me gather a sample. The probe would still go orbit or land, but I'd take an additional probe and put it on top of the token. And then it's not a probe anymore. It's just like a little, carry-all thing that you can still move like a probe, but doesn't count as a probe for any other effects. And then you got to bring it to Earth or Mars or whatever it tells you. So them being in the game makes it maybe a little bit better for me to pursue some of those orange techs that will let me get to stuff faster. But we'll see how that goes. All right, now we go to the AI's final turns. They're going to pass unless I pass before them. Oh, and here this would have gotten replaced if the second alien had been discovered, so kind of good that it wasn't, because usually that'll be a stronger card. They would move a probe. They never launched one. Or they're going to tech. Oh, and without paying any publicity. Notice that there's no publicity cost here. So they're going to rotate, gain a tech, and gain 1 progress. Nice for them. And the progress happens after, so they want the second orange, which means they'll also get a energy, but they can't, so they'll get another progress. So 2 progress overall for them. This is the one that would let you move through asteroids more cheaply and gain publicity from doing so. And they got 2 victory points, so they almost got the second alien race discovered. And yeah, they did not get all the way around yet, so that's good. They didn't get a 6th card yet. And it comes back to me. What could I do? I don't want to play my main card. Well, I can't because I don't have 3 credits. I don't have 2 credits to launch a probe. I don't have a probe to orbit or land. I don't have a credit to scan. I don't have data to analyze. I don't have enough publicity to give research a tech. So I'm probably going to pass. Now, I do want to say, though, very important rule to remember. You can, as a free action, make exchanges of 2 of a kind for 1 of a kind, 2 credits, 2 energy, or 2 cards for 1 credit, 1 energy, or 1 card. But it doesn't have to be 2 of the same. So I couldn't do like a credit and an energy for a card. It has to be 2 of a kind. So I could here spend 2 energy to get a card, or spend 2 energy to get a credit. I don't think that's worth doing yet. We can see how things kind of shake out next turn. I could also, as a free action, pay 3 of my 4 publicity to buy a card, one of the 3 in the offer, because it's not a question mark or the top of the deck. But no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pass, because passing early does give you a slight advantage. So let's talk about passing and the rounds. There are 5 rounds in the game. Here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this little stack of cards, which is equal to 1 more than the number of players, the automa counting as a player. So there's 3 cards in each of these. And when you pass, you get to pick up the cards, take 1 of them, and put the rest back. But additionally, the reason this token is here as a reminder is the first player to pass will also cause a rotation to happen. So I'm passing. I'm going to rotate the 3rd tier, everything. And then I get to look at these 3 cards, take 1 of them, and put the other 2 back. And then when the AI passes in a second, they don't actually take a card, but they will gain 1 progress since they would have gained a card. And then at the end of the round, this will go on the second stack to remind us we're in round 2 and to remind us to rotate when we take the cards. All right, so let's see. I have that really expensive card that I might play from the aliens. What would this do? This would get me another scanning tech, but I don't want to focus that much on scanning. This would get me 1 publicity immediately, and then each time I later discovered each type of life, I would get 1 data. So these are like later quests that you can complete in part. And what is this? Ooh, for 1, mark a blue for speeches you have already marked a blue. Well, that's pretty dang good. Especially with this card for these guys, because if I can get the 1 blue marked on them, I can then play this for a single money to mark another one, which would immediately complete this and let me it's just the reward for the token, so it's not as good. But I mean, still something. So yeah, between these, I think I'm going to grab that one. And the rest technically would go back for the AI to pick from, but they don't care. They're about to pass and just get a progress, so I'll just discard these. And yeah, AI has no cards left, so they pass. Boop. That was for the 1 card they would have drawn. And that marks the end of the round. And I think I'll do 2 rounds for this playthrough. The whole game takes a little while, especially with explanations, so at least we'll get to see the second alien and kind of how things work. So at the end of the round, we all get income. I'm getting 4 credits, 3 energy, and 1 random card from the top of the deck. And hoo boy, that is a lot of energy. What's the card? If you have a probe on asteroids, mark a yellow? Dang, that's good. Kind of wanted to launch a probe anyway, but I don't have enough money to pay for all this stuff. Then the starting player token passes, so the automa will be first this round. We move this token over to remind us what round it is and to remind us to rotate when the first player passes. All right, and technically before my income, I would have had to spend these task tiles, 1 for round 1, or give them 3 progress. So I do have the 1 I need, and I'm on my way to getting 2 more for round 2. Oh, and we take the AI's deck, shuffle it up, and we're ready to go. So let's jump into round 2. And again, this will be the last one I play, just to give you kind of a quick feel for the game without destroying my schedule. Let's get to it. All right, so what is the AI doing first? They cannot empty their data. They do not have that, so they are scanning again, and they don't have a scan tech to boost with. So once on Earth, 2 on the rightmost cards. So it's going to be Earth, blue, blue. All right, so Earth's getting them in here. And then what blues they prefer? Oh, they're going to go to Sirius both times. First because they want those victory points, and also because they have the most tokens there. Those 2 victory points put them to that milestone or past it, so they are going to have the neutral token unlock the next alien. And here we go. Let's see who our new friend is. Anomalies. These enormous, highly reflective objects have been discovered in our solar system. These anomalies distort space-time around them, implying a connection to distant observers. Their discovery has sparked protests, worship, and a newfound sense of global unity. We are watching them. Is someone watching back? Okay, so once again, we're each going to get a card, or the AI will get a progress, because we each have a token there. For 1, I can move 5. Jeez. But don't gain any publicity for moving this turn. Okay, now we place these anomaly tokens with a random side up for each. 1 in the outermost sector with Earth. That's 4 victory points. And then 3 sectors counterclockwise and 3 sectors clockwise. All right. And so now what happens for the rest of the game is whenever Earth rotates to be in one of the sectors with one of these anomalies, then whichever player has placed the highest token in the matching color, because each anomaly corresponds with one of the tracks, one of the types of life signs you can find, then you get the bonus on the tokens. So if I had a token here, but the AI had a token there, when the Earth rotated to this one, the AI would gain 2 publicity. Now note again that lower spaces tend to be better, so it's kind of encouraging you to go for worse spaces. Now the AI will consistently always go for the lowest row available for both alien species, so I can potentially kind of game this. What is the first one coming around? After 3 rotations, Earth will be there, so whoever has the highest blue, which right now I'm the only one with a blue on there, so it would actually be me if the AI does not get a blue there before me. I would get a free energy. Nice. All right, now how about my action? I wasn't thinking about moving anymore, but now I'm kind of thinking I should launch a probe and use close-up view. I can get like all the way to Neptune and land or orbit that and get a big reward. So yeah, I think I'll start out by paying 2 credits to launch a probe. Not sure if that's the right call, but we'll give it a try. Now, I could use free actions to move with energy, but I want to play that card, which will have to be my main action to get 5 movement all at once. And as for the AI, they're going to launch their first probe and gain 1 publicity, which means now when they get another action card that moves their probe, so they do like movement and orbiting or landing all at once. And they're also going to be landing on a moon, most likely, because they got these tokens. All right, but back to me. Let's spend another credit on it, very much left to move 5. And I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get to Neptune. Unfortunately, I don't get the 3 publicity I would have gotten without this card, but so it goes. But I can't land yet, and the AI, they're going to replace this card immediately with the card corresponding to our left aliens and then resolve that card. So this is going away. Oh, and it looks like they'll be launching and moving a lot, which makes sense with the pick up and deliver aliens in the game. So they can't do this if they already have a probe on Earth. That prevents them from doing that action. So instead, they're going to try to go to Saturn, first preference, if they can reach it in 4 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, because they have to pay double. 5 for Jupiter. That seems more likely. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And they will take the most publicity heavy route possible. So that'll get them 2. That brings them to 6. So they are ready for a tech later. Okay. And then they're going to land on Jupiter. If they didn't have a token to discard, these are like their priorities. They do the leftmost one they can do, but they do have a token to discard, so they will to land on Jupiter's moons, one of them. And their preference is the rightmost one, which is going to be Io. So they're getting 10 victory points and 4 energy, which will instead, 4 energy, that's crazy, which will instead be 4 progress for them. 10 victory points also means they pass the first gold milestone, and these don't matter anymore because all the aliens are discovered, so we don't have to worry about those tokens. But yeah, at the end of their turn, we'll deal with the gold end of game scoring stuff. And the 4 progress is pretty important because, they go past there, which means they take one of the advanced cards and put it on top of their deck. Their deck is now longer or bigger. They're going to take more actions every round, but also their very next action will be stronger. And what's left? Take a random token from the planet and place it face up on this species board. Ignore its reward. So they just take away one of the tokens from Jupiter. They don't get it yet. It just goes there as a potential blue placement option. But I mean, they got a ton of victory points and leveling up from it, so I'm sure they're not sad. All right, now for me. It's kind of expensive, but I'm going to pay 3 to land on Neptune. Or they say when it's like a gas giant, you're not really landing, but like letting your probe break up in the atmosphere for information. I could use my last credit and an energy to orbit. But the landing bonus is a lot better. So look, if you orbit, you get 10 victory points total. But landing also gets you 10 victory points. 4 data, landing gets you 3, so pretty close. And then, it is a 5th data by getting to scan one of the 2 black stars. But, I mean, getting a full-on thing just seems way better, and I just have so much energy. So yeah, here we go. So 3 data, 10 victory points. Oh, hold on. I forgot the end of the turn for the AI. We'll come back to this in a second. So their preference was to the right, so they want to find the leftmost, most valuable spot on the rightmost of these end-of-game scoring things and lock it off. They don't actually score anything for these. Their end-of-game scoring is all about the task that you didn't complete, but it just blocks off the best spot. So they only ever go for the leftmost spot that they can get into. Now, this one is for mission completion, which I don't think is what I'll be focusing on at all. All the rest of these already look better for what I've been doing in the game. Okay, but getting back to me, I got 3 data. I got 10 victory points, tied it up, so I'll pick my first one of those in a second. And I get to do a yellow placement. So the best ones right now are victory points and cards. Remember, having a higher thing here, or just like locking in here, would let me get the yellow bonus when we get around to that anomaly, which is 2 publicity, which ain't nothing, but it's also the farthest anomaly from our current position, so I wouldn't get it for a while. Now, how about the card? I could take this one or the top one of the deck. For 1 money, I would gain 1 publicity, and then every time I did any tech research, I could gain one of these rewards until I'd finish off the mission. Not too bad. Or Hive Sample. Costs a ton to get me a tech. Oh, it's pretty much the same as the other card I have. Now, I do already have 1 yellow for that species, and in fact, I could get this card by doing another one, which would then give me an immediate completion of this mission whenever I play this card, to pick one of the tokens from either Jupiter or Saturn and gain its reward. And the possible rewards are here. I mean, it's pretty dang good. Like 2 credits, that's a whole dang action. Or 2 energy or 3 publicity. See, I kind of like that. All right, so I'm gonna get this. So 5 victory points. I am taking this card, which means a new one comes down. I don't have the credits to play that card anytime soon, so that might have been a terrible choice. But, we'll look to the future. All right, so that was 5 more to 36. And which of these do I want to lock in? So I am 1 card income away from getting my first set of those. I am 1 purple away from getting my first set of these, but I haven't been scanning a lot, so that seems unlikely to happen soon. Oh, sorry, I meant this one. And then here I'm, I only have 1 tech currently. So yeah, this one seems like maybe the best option. It's not going to be too hard for me to gain a card income sometime here, and then that'll be 11 points for sure. And that's it for me for the moment. Let's see what their next card is. They do have enough to get a tech. So they're going to get a tech. They're going to progress 1. Oh, sorry, the tech happens first. So they're going to get the first pink, which I already got the token from, so they're going to get the second pink instead, and they're going to rotate first. All right, so rotation brings us... wait, I did this wrong, didn't I? That should be here, right? It was 3 counterclockwise from Earth. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, yes. And then, their priority, one of them to get the first pink, but it already has its 2 victory point token taken, so they'll go to the next one in the line, which is this one. So they're getting 5 victory points, tied up with me again, and that's right, the tech doesn't matter. But this will boost a future scan action they take. Oh, and I can't forget to spend their publicity. That's pretty important. Speaking of publicity, to finish one of the tasks for this turn, I need to have a blue tech. So 2 more publicity would get me there. And then to finish this task from last turn, I need to get 2 more. So I think I want to scan, right? That kind of seems like the right thing to do. So I can scan in Earth's region or either to the side, and then 1 card discard from the supply. Still haven't leveled up anything else from there. All right, so Earth or 1 to either side. Seems like maybe I should try to get Barnard Star going. So sure, let's do this one, which will get me 2 victory points. And then there is a red card in the offer, so let's do that one again. That way, even if the AI comes in and helps to finish it, they would have to do a ton all at once to actually lock me out of getting that one. And I do now have 5 data, so boom, got that task completed, one of the 2 I need for this round. And with it completed, I don't have to wait. So as a free action, that gets me one of the 2 publicity I need for a tech. And then I'm getting an income. I don't need to put that one down yet in case I get a blue tech that I could put here and then benefit from. So I guess I want the card, right, for the income? Well, even though money might do me better, but for the victory points, I can always discard 2 cards for a bonus. Yes, I'm going to get a random card from the top of the deck. Ooh, it's free. This gives me some missions if I visit Uranus and Neptune. Oh, man, why was that Neptune? But it doesn't count now. I'd have to do it. These kind of ones that have like the little tokens here, you have to do after you play the card. Whereas these ones that don't have the little slots are just applied whenever it is true. So, like, again, if I already have 2 for the species, which I do, I'll be able to get this bonus immediately. All right, now I just got to figure out how to get one more publicity. None of my cards give me publicity. Wonderful. We'll worry about that problem after the AI goes. And whoops, they are getting the anomaly card. Let's see what that does. If the rival is not winning the next anomaly, they mark of that color for this species and gain 3 victory points. Oh, geez, they just automatically do it? So the next anomaly is going to be the blue one, which, yeah, they're not winning. What the heck, man? So they just get 7 victory points and 1 progress for the card they can't take. That is wild. Good job, AI. Yeah, you're intimidating me. Okay, they got 1 card left before they pass. All right. Oh, sorry. I should have another one of these out. What is this? Getting a probe to an asteroid, I guess. All right, that's exciting. And discovering another blue. Ooh, which I'm about to do. Heck yeah, that's great. See, I think I'm going to do this. This is a nice alien card, but I am just going to trash it to get a victory point and a data. That's what I really care about. And then I will fill this in, and for my actual main action, I will spend 1 and process another blue. And, you know what? Let's make sure I get that free energy bonus when we rotate there, and also get the publicity I need to get a tech. I'm going to get this higher one that's not as good as that for 2 victory points, which also means I've got that locked in. If I can play this card next turn, I immediately complete a mission for that one. But this turn, to get my second one, I can do a blue tech in a second, and that will protect me for this round. Although, I also got to be worried about getting victory points. I might not be doing that as much as I should be. But that was my main action. Boom! What are they doing? They don't have enough tech to complete that yet. They don't have a probe, because they already landed it, so they are going to scan again and discard this, so they will do 2 from Earth and 2 with cards. Well, the 2 from Earth is pretty obvious. That's going to be Kepler 22, getting 2 victory points. Then the 2 with cards is going to be blue and then yellow. Let's get the full look here. Blue, there, or there. So they'll go to the one they already have the most of, since they can't get the victory point here yet. And then yellow. Oh, they're actually going to go to the one that I'm already on because it gets them 2 victory points. And they immediately fill in, which gets them 4 more progress. And when they have extras, they just sit over here, and they can have any number of extras. A human player can only have 6 before they have to fill in or do something with them. But yeah, the extras will just sit out until they take a card action to resolve this and get the blue sign of life, and then they'll immediately fill in and get any bonuses from their extra data they've saved up. So they're about to pass next turn. I can't pass yet, right? No, because I need to do my research. So I'm going to do that. Wait. Yeah, they definitely rotated, but I didn't move the tokens. I'm going to rotate the second tier, which means when they pass, I'll get a free energy. Love that. And I want a blue tech. Let me show you these because they kind of have the same general idea. So all the blue ones have the same thing. They have 2 victory points at the top and then some other bonus at the bottom. And how it works is you can put it anywhere in these 4 spots. Doesn't matter what order you go in. And from then on, when you fill from left to right to get this ready, you'll get victory points. But additionally, as long as the top spot is filled, you can, anytime you're filling in with the data, put it on the bottom spot for the bonus, although that's not directly moving you towards being able to complete this. So, it's a little bit of a cost thing there. But, getting free credits, free energy for more actions is pretty big. So, yeah, which one do I want? Kind of feel like credits, although getting a card is maybe not the main thing I want right now. But it's fine. All right, so I get 2 victory points, I get a card, and then that'll slot into my thing I'm going to put in the leftmost spot. And for the card, this one's actually kind of good. Give me a publicity and 2 scans in a sector with Earth. If I play that quickly next round, it would immediately finish off the Barnard star that's right in front of me and get me some more publicity and get me a sign of life. It seems pretty solid, although 2 credits, man. I'm only going to have 4 credits. I want to play this thing, too, to complete the mission, so Oh, but then I can put the data on the thing that gives me credits. So yeah, actually, let's do this. I'm going to get that card instead of a random one from the top and refill in. And yeah, to show it again, so I put this on the leftmost spot, although I did not have to. So if I get 1 data, it'll go here and give me 2 victory points. If I get 2, I could already go down here and get credits, which is I think what I'll do. Okay, but the AI is going to pass because they have no cards left. They'll advance progress once for the card they're not getting. And they just randomly get rid of the topmost one because they don't know what they want. But that is going to rotate for the first pass, which brings our first anomaly into view, worth 1 energy for whoever has the most blue or the highest blue, which despite their shenanigans earlier is me. So yay! And I will also pass, and this is actually pretty important. I have 4 cards in my hand right now. And when you pass, you have to discard down to 4 cards, and then you rotate if you're the first to pass, and then you get one of the end of round cards. So it's okay to pass when you have 4 cards, even though you're about to get a 5th. That doesn't take you over the hand limit. Oh, wait a second. Didn't I? Yeah, I completed this by doing a blue tech. I was about to say I knew I had a reason for all that. So let's see what I've got. This one I can discard for a data. That seems pretty good. Or play it for 1, and then the next time I orbit, I would get 2 publicity, and the next time I land, I would get 2 publicity. Or the Venera probe, I could discard it for a movement, pay 3 money, 1 more than a normal launch, so I'd be extra paying for a launch, but I would get a publicity. And then if I go to Venus, which is only 2 spaces away from Earth, so not that hard, then I could get a bunch of victory points and more publicity. I mean, neither of these is honestly great. I feel like I might want to discard this for the data, so I'm going to take this one. That takes us to the end of the round. So before income, I did complete 2 tasks. Oh, and I should have a new one. I have to either win a blue sector or a yellow sector. Guess which sector color I'm about to win? A red one. Darn it. But yeah, the slash means one or the other will complete the task. But yes, I'm discarding both of these, so I do not give the AI any free level ups again. I get my income, which is now 4 credits, 3 energy, and 2 random cards. I got a lot of cards, but remember, you can discard 2 cards to get 1 energy or 1 credit in a pinch. And then I would be the starting player for the next round. Shuffle the AI's deck, which is now 6 cards, including 2 more powerful alien cards that key off of what the aliens are doing in this mission. And we would prep for round 3. And there you go. That is a partial game of SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Life. I hope that gives a good rules teach. You saw pretty much everything. I mean, the big thing is at the end of the game, you count your points based on your placement of these things, while the AI will again get 5 points for every uncompleted task. And although I haven't played any of these, there are also cards that give you end-of-game scoring. Besides that, most of your victory points are really coming out in the game a lot of the time. And again, things change up quite a bit play to play. There's 5 alien species. These are just 2 of them. There's a bunch of different tasks you can use. There's 5 levels of AI to challenge yourself with. Lots of variety in the cards that come out, all that stuff. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. Hopefully you had fun watching it. And I should have a review of the solo and competitive play overall coming in like another week or 2 when I get to it. But thank you for watching, everyone, and a special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Nick Skeen, Miles, Wayne Scott, Pedro Lucas, and Steve Wren. We'll see you at the next stop.